Credit card has been used all over the world for money exchange, for transactions, for buying and selling, and for services. Credit card is known all over the world as a conveyance of currency. It's card that is issued to you by a bank or a financial house that's lender giving to the borrower some amount of money for you to use to buy things at your disposal. Now, we'll have to talk about credit card today, and I'm discussing it with my fellow partners here. This is Izor and Okiki. My name is Osas, and we want to talk to you about credit card. What is credit card all about? What are the pros and what are the cons on the use of credit card? Join us on Open Table.
Open table.
Open Table. Izo.
I'll take the pros. So, like you rightly said, Osas, it is used internationally for buying and selling for transaction and services. It makes for easy move of money and funds. Now, remember back in the day where people used to carry cash and you want to buy something and you have to carry bulk cash. The fear that was in your heart every time you had to, and then even if you're using like an aircraft, you can only declare so much. But now all you have to do is just slip your card in your pocket, in your wallet, and you can do transactions across board
Mhm.
with lots of money without fear. It has also made transactions very fast. And if you go to areas where it's just the tap of the card
Card.
and then you sometimes I feel that's not a pro. I think it's a con because you keep tapping your money
Yep.
somewhere.
Yeah, tap, tap, tap.
Yeah, but it has made transactions a lot easier for you, the customer, and even for the banks because banks can now talk to each other without having to move bulk money around. And then there's also the other part of building up your credit score, your credit history that makes you more credit worthy to embark on bigger ventures. So I would say those are the pros of using
Credit
credit
card.
card.
Yeah, credit card has been used for, it's like you are borrowing money from the bank. So it's not your money,
Yeah.
but you are expected to pay back
Mhm.
and with an interest if you default and other things. Okay, what do you think? Is credit card an advantageous means of transaction, or you rather have your money on your ATM, your normal savings accounts card without the use of credit card?
Firstly, I want to start by saying credit card is that card that gives you that confidence. I can buy anything I want to buy.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, we still need to be careful. Do not buy if you know you can't afford it. Don't think because we have I wouldn't want to say because I have that credit card, then I'll start tapping everywhere I go to, right? I still want to buy with sense and make decisions based on what I can afford. It's a good thing. Yeah, I would want to agree that it's a good thing on one side, and yeah, it's a good thing. I don't see any disadvantages that it gives. And another thing is, okay, let me just give a short story. I had a colleague whose car was boggled. Same here in our environment. I think that was about 2 months ago, overnight, and his wallet was in the car. So his debit card was taken. His credit card a card, like the money on his credit card was refunded by the bank, but everything on his debit card was lost, like his checking account was lost.
Oh, wow.
So if in that situation would want to say a credit card is an advantage, right? Because whatever you might lose, the bank will definitely give it back to you, unlike if it's cash in your savings or your checking. Like, so in that situation, I want to agree that it's an advantage. And it also makes you plan ahead. Like if you know you are not able to pay for something, instead of having to wait to buy that thing, you can go ahead, use your credit card, and if plan yourself like, oh, every month this is the amount I will pay back, the next month pays an amount back. So it's a card that makes you plan, and you don't have to wait to get or buy whatever you desire or you need at that particular time. So I would want to say it has advantages than disadvantages.
I think credit card is neutral. I think it takes on the character of who's holding it.
But I believe credit card has a lot of disadvantages if you misuse it.
Yes.
Yes.
It takes the nature of who's holding it. Because if you have somebody that is spendthrift, let me use your example. That thing that the person wants to buy, Is it buying it because it's essential? Or is buying it because I just want to buy? And also, remember these days where you have online buying and all that. A lot of people have their credit card. Temu will just send you something, and it's not really a need, but because it's catchy,
And you can
and because
click,
you can click,
and your money goes away.
so
and you
I
buy.
wouldn't say it's the fault of the credit card.
Well, for credit card is actually supposed to be a means of financial assistance for emergency use.
Right.
Or yes. And even though it has its advantage of helping you to build your credit score, the reason of building a credit score, what's a credit score? A credit score is building that history of use and repayment plan.
Exactly.
So if you have been using a credit card and you are returning them as you go, as
yeah.
at when due, you are not a persistent ower. You don't keep owing money and building up interests. You have good credit history. You are building the credit history. Basically, people build credit history for mortgage purposes.
Yeah.
Because when you want to like go for something bigger,
Any large
like you want to buy
investments.
a house, or you want to buy like a vehicle, for example, that's credit history is like your insurance to show that, oh, this person has been borrowing in little money, in little quantity, and repaying back immediately. Probably you go to grocery store, you buy things, $300, $500 from on your groceries on the credit card. And then before the end of the month, you repay back either in full or at least a substantial amount. So that shows that you are paying back your lender that money instrumentally in the right way as it should. But some people borrow this money or use up their credit card in different locations and they forget to pay or they just don't pay back. And for 6 months, there is no refund on the credit card and they are whipping up a lot of money, a lot of interest. They are owing $200 here and there becomes $1,500, becomes $2,000, and then all of a sudden they see that their monthly allowance or their salary cannot pay off what they are owing.
Because with the credit card, you have to have what they call minimum balance.
Yeah.
And then there's a minimum payment you also make monthly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't pay that money, the interest rate on that card, the bank, the lender, which is the bank, will say, oh, this person is not creditworthy. So they will jack up your interest rates.
Yes.
In proportion to the amount on the credit card.
Wow.
So that's why if you want to buy anything with your credit card, make sure that the actual money is there, either in your checking account or in your savings account, or if it's not there right at the moment, it's going to come in the next few days so that you can refund the money.
Or you have a payment plan.
Or a payment plan.
Yeah, because there was a time I needed to use my credit card for something. We were doing some renovation in my home and wanted to do our landscaping, yes, at the backyard. So it was going to cost us close to a lot, in thousands of dollars. And I didn't want to bring that money out from my pocket.
Right.
And I decided like, okay, I'll save my money for some time. At least I won't, because just in case of emergencies. And I started to use my credit card to offset the bill of the landscaping. But I had a payment plan. Okay, I want to pay off this money in 4 months.
Right.
Because I didn't want to pay it off in a full, lump sum. So I spread out the payment. Oh, I'm going to pay, say for example, it cost me $2,000. I was going to pay $500 every paycheck or every month. And, that does not affect your credit score, right? So like you said, credit card takes up the spirit or is
the nature
of the spender, of the owner, holder of the card. So how you handle your card is what determines your credit history.
The interest rate on a credit card is one of the highest rates than other forms of loan.
I think it's about 25%.
Yes, it's 29 point something.
Oh, really?
Depending on the bank. Most banks do 29.99. Some banks do 19.
Is that when you don't pay back?
No,
on the regular.
On the regular. It's a significant interest rate.
So why are you encouraged to use your credit card instead of your debit card?
Because that's, okay, again, like Osas said, if you have a big project, it might take you a while to accrue the money to do the project.
Yeah.
And if time is of the essence, you want to attend to it. That's why you need a credit card. So it's the bank telling you, I want to assist you to achieve this project. But you should not have a payment plan to quickly pay it off. Because the longer it stays, the more you are paying the interest. Some people collect the money, like she said, 6 months they've not paid. So they want to pay that money. By the time they are paying that money,
The
they spread
interest
it for
rate.
another 2 years. And on every month, there's an interest rate.
But
So maybe you took like, I'm just using arbitrary figures now, maybe you use 2,000. Based on that interest rate, by the time you fully pay the money, the person is probably paying 6,000, 8,000 to the bank. But because they are deducting 200 here, 500 here, you don't know how much you now eventually
yeah.
paid.
Yes, because
So that's
even from the first month that you did not make any payment,
Mhm.
and even when you make payment, there is interest on the balance
Exactly.
that has not been paid, right?
Yeah.
But every payment you make
Reducing
reduces,
interest.
yes, reduces. So, for example, borrow 2,000, you spend 2,000 maybe to buy a piece of furniture or your, dining set or something, or do a major renovation, or fix your car for something or the other.
Mhm.
And then you have a payment plan of maybe 200 or 500, whatever. The month you pay off the 500, the interest, the remaining months, you're only going to pay the following months after that, you're paying only interest on 1,500.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the month you decide to pay another 500, the month after that, the only interest you'll be charged will be on the 1,000.
1,000.
So as long as you're consistent, you might end up paying something like $50 on $2,000 at the end
Yeah.
of the 4
But
months.
for those that are not diligent,
Yes.
they now maybe that first month they don't pay. And then the next month the bank is asking at least make the minimum payment, which will be like maybe less than 100. By the time the person is done paying all these little bitty monies into that to cover that debt, they might end up paying so much that the difference from the 2,000 will be a significant amount. So my theory is, if you're going to use the credit card, have a plan to pay off the money as soon as possible, because it has one of the highest interest rates for payments. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my view.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So we have already told you the advantages. One of some of the advantage of credit card: pay off your credit card on time and as systematically as you should. However, I see that there are some people, when they are used or new to credit card use, because they have this mentality of, I want to build my credit history. They use credit card for almost everything, even student loan, bank loan, and they are now found in a quagmire where they cannot even pay off this credit card. I mean, do you have any advice for that? Like, how do you think they can get out of this scenario? Because we might have some people there that have built up a lot of debts on their credit card.
So it's what I know is what they call debt stacking. So some people have more than one credit card. They have more than one credit card, they have more than one source of debt. So usually we would sit with a financial advisor and tell you that, okay, they will check on each credit card what is the interest rates, and then look into your budget to ask you how much are you willing to pay monthly, so that we can start attending to these debts. So if the person says, oh, I have 200 to pay, then they start paying down the one with the highest interest rates. By the time they are done paying down that one and it frees the credit card, they move it on to the next. So that person has to be disciplined that, okay, you have paid it down, your credit card debt is now reduced from 5,000 to maybe 1,000. That's, remember, the limit is still 5,000. That's not now the time that you will now go and make another huge buy. So there's a lot of discipline that has to come from the person consigning payment of the credit card debt. But when it's overwhelming like that, your best bet is to work with a financial advisor.
What do you think about, what if somebody takes the one that has the lowest, someone that has debt in two, three credit cards, the lowest interest rates, pay off the one with the highest interest rate, so that all your debt goes to the one with the lower interest rate?
So if let's make it practical now. You have one card from bank A, one the other card from bank B, and then the other bank card from bank C. More often than not, at least to the best of my knowledge, unless that credit card is from another country, in Canada the interest rates are almost similar. They're almost the same. But let's assume that that's the case. Then it might make sense to just withdraw the money and pay into. But remember, if you're paying money out from a credit card to another credit
The
card,
interest rate is different.
Yes.
So it's slightly,
the thing is, at
significantly
the
higher.
bottom of all of this is discipline.
Do you mean taking money from one bank, from one credit card to pay to offset a?
Yes. That's what she was
Do-
saying. But
Well,
I'm saying that
mhm,
if we are speaking to how things are in Canada, the
yeah.
interest rates are the same across the bank.
Why not just pay off simultaneously? Like if you have 200 to pay back, maybe pay 100 here. I'm not a financial expert. I'm just thinking like,
Mhm.
if I have 200 to pay off, why not pay maybe 100 here, or the one that has the highest credit loan, like
Mhm.
pay off that one, maybe pay 150 or
Yeah.
120, then pay
So
80 in the
if
other
you
one.
have,
Does
like
that
I
work?
said, if you have three, and this one has an interest rate of 20, this one has an interest rate of 15. I'm just giving arbitrary figures now. An interest rate of 10.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing to do is, instead of putting 200 here, 200 here, 200, carry the 600 and pay down the one with the highest interest rate. Because if
But
you don't finish, yes, those ones are accruing, but their interest
yeah,
rate is small.
but by
Yeah.
the
If you
time
continue to scatter it like that, the one with the bigger interest
We
rate
swallow
will
up
swallow
whatever you
everything.
have paid in it.
oh,
So pay the one with the biggest interest rate off completely, so that you know that, you see, that systematic thing you talked about, you pay it within a short period of time so that it doesn't accrue more debt for you, and then you move to the next and move to the next. It takes years to do this sometimes.
oh.
So, but that's why I said the person has to also be disciplined. That by the time you fully paid off the card, I usually recommend that once you've paid off that card, break the card.
Stop
I'm telling
using.
you, just
Yeah.
break it
Yeah.
so
Hmm.
that you don't have access to it, and then move on to the
So
next and then to
next.
the next. Because if you leave it there, there's always that
There are
temptation
some
where,
people I realize that the bank, one bank, say TD Bank, gives them a credit card, they collect. Capital One is always posting credit card to people,
exactly my
you
point.
collect. RBC is giving credit card, and because they put a little incentive on it, you receive it. Loblo,
Yeah,
that's
PC optimum.
yeah, Pipsy Optimum or Financial. They release their credit card, they market and tell you, "Oh, come get our credit card."
Points. I don't
You
know.
use
Some market
points,
with
you
points.
collect PC Optimum or PC Financial, because is for points, Financial is the credit card. Then Walmart gives you a credit card. There was
You
a
go.
time I had three credit cards. I still do, but I've dropped one. I only use two
Mhm.
basically because I just like, okay, for freedom of options.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, personally, I pay off my credit card immediately. By I get a paycheck,
Mhm.
and I try not to go above a certain limit on my
Yeah.
credit card, because I think that is one of the ways to discipline.
So
How do you discipline yourself using your credit card?
yeah, that's one of the first thing I do is whatever I can afford, I don't buy. It will rather still
Yeah.
wait. Yeah, when I know I can't afford it, then I don't buy. And
Mhm.
paying off at the right time, like at least pay off the minimum balance. And at times, I even want to pay above the minimum, as much as I can afford that. Then I'll pay off. But the basic thing for me is what I can afford, I don't buy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
do.
I think that is the
That's
key.
the key.
That's the
That's the
key.
key, because again, that's why some people lately are advocating that instead of buying things with cards, now not just credit card, debit card, any card, instead of buying things with card, use cash.
But you're
I'm going to tell you why they're advocating that. Because it's so easy and technology has really gone very far. People buy things, and you go to the grocery store, maybe you wanted to go and buy apples.
you
Then all of a sudden you saw strawberry. And then all of a sudden you saw this. And then because it's just a tap, you don't feel it.
The
So
amount.
the
Yeah.
amount that is leaving you. But by the time you go with cash and you had maybe $100 in your pocket, and you said, I wanted to spend
Mm-hmm.
$20 in the grocery store, and by the time you buy all these other things that are good but you don't really need them, when you are letting go of that $100 and your wallet is now empty, it makes a stronger impact, or a
Mm-hmm.
stronger
All right.
feeling on you than just you go there, tap, and then you tap 100 away, and then you won't feel
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
But
but
where does this advice where that people give you that the more you use your credit card, then you need to you that the more you build your credit score when you keep spending
Yes,
cash.
because
So
the
how do you?
banks, again, remember what Osas said, the banks are lending you money.
Mm-hmm.
And then oftentimes the bank will tell you, I want to lend you even more money.
Yeah.
So there are times people have capital projects they want to buy. They want to buy a house,
Mm-hmm.
or they want to buy a
it-
car, or they want to start a business, and they don't have the immediate money.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to go to the bank to get money. Now,
and you need to
you need
qualify.
to qualify. So the bank will go and look at your credit history to see how faithful have you been in paying up. So people encourage people to spend their credit card
Yeah.
so that they have a credit history. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
give you an example with myself. because I've always been.
Sorry, Izor, before you
Mhm.
go to the example, that's what you said. You encourage people to spend cash. So
Yes.
if I don't use my credit card and I spend cash often, like how do I build? Do
No,
I
you
go
wouldn't.
out?
You wouldn't.
Yeah,
You
So
won't build any
that's why I'm
credit.
yeah. So,
telling you.
I need that.
Hold
We
on.
all know we
That's
need the
why I'm
credit
telling
score.
you. When people are saying I'm using my credit card to build my credit score, do you have plans of purchasing a house in the next 1 year or 2 years? If
Yeah.
that is not in your plan, please
You don't
don't
even need to
take
Oh,
on
build your
it.
credit score. Actually, like,
Let
yes.
me come to my story now. So I remember when we first came, because I've always been in quote what they call an Ijebu. I'm always minimalistic. I before you get money out of my hand, Jesus. So when they gave us the credit card, I refused to use my credit card, and my husband was using his credit card. I said, I'm not touching it. I don't want to. This thing is lended my borrowed money and all that, and I wasn't using my credit card. And then when
Mhm.
we wanted to buy a house, he had a credit history I
straight.
didn't. And they said, "Oh, we now know what his spending is like."
Mm-hmm.
But you not
No,
sure. We don't know how credit worthy
what do
you
you
are.
are? Yeah,
So we had to put things at bay. That was when I started using my card
credit.
because I needed to
To build
show
your credit
that I
history.
have a credit history. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I said if you are not planning on any capital project right
Okay.
in front of you, by my own view, keep it aside.
Well,
Especially if you are the type, because I'm speaking my truth now. I don't
mm-hmm.
know if it happens to other people, viewers. I don't know if it happens to you. You are busy doing something and then something flashes, a beautiful dress on Temu or somewhere, and then they tell you that if you spin the wheel, they will give you this. And before you know it, you have spent $100, one fifty
$150.
dollars. Money just so if you are not, some people are able to see it and turn another, but I see it, and so for me, I know that so as not to fall into this snare, don't have the credit card.
I think it's all about discipline,
Mhm.
honestly, because if you have a bar that you don't want to go above, although sometimes you are tempted to go
Yeah.
above, like you said, nevertheless, it's when you decide and when you the day period you are tempted, you go above. When you come and retrace your step and you don't go above. The problem with credit card is when people keep buying things, forgetting that
They
they
have
have
a
a
mini
payment
bar.
plan.
Mhm.
You now you want to buy a set of furniture is 2,500 or more, and because you're not paying from your immediate pocket,
Mhm.
you just feel okay. They tell you you have a payment plan, you can pay in 12 months, or that's another thing. Anyway, a little bit different from credit card.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, it's still a kind of credit
Yes.
they offer to
Discipline.
you,
Yeah.
and you take it. And then you now feel, oh, I want to buy a car, and this car is maybe tens of thousands of dollars. You don't want to pay out of pocket. So you buy, also go the car shop, and they offer you this car and give you a payment plan. That's another form of credit, even if it's not in a card. But they offer you a payment plan of monthly payment plan, and you've forgotten that you bought furniture. They are deducting, oh, how much? 200. Okay, I think I can take care of 200. And the next one, you've added a car to it,
Mhm.
another 200.
But people are overreaching. That's
That is
my
it.
thing. They're
So that
overreaching.
ends up
Because
making them
if you were paying
overreach.
that money from your pocket, would you have settled for the caliber of car you settled for?
Hmm.
If you were paying it from your pocket, would you have bought that theater size TV, or you would have bought something that was more to your budget?
Well, whatever you do,
The,
pay off your
it's
debts.
possible you could it's possible you buy that kind of car or TV, but it might not just at that time you bought it. There are people
You would
who
have
save.
waited to
Yes,
save
Yeah, it might, yeah,
exactly.
save towards
delayed
buying.
gratification.
Yeah.
That's the word.
But you see, another thing I realized that when you have the main purpose of credit score is mortgage.
Mhm.
I have when I bought my house a couple of years ago. Since then, my credit score is just there. I don't use this for anything
No, but
again.
if you're
Can you
going to
borrow
do
me
it,
your credit score?
I wish
but
I
if you're
can.
going to do any
You know,
capital investment that you need to take
but
all
anyway,
the time,
yes,
you
it's
will need
just
it.
for you to still because I love spending my credit card. I know, okay, what am I buying? And I do a mental calculation, what's in my savings account.
Mhm.
I can offset that, I spend it. That's personally what I do because I do a mental note of what I have in my account. I'm not going to pay for something of $2,000 when I have maybe 500 in my savings
Exactly.
account. How do I
Exactly.
pay that
No,
off?
no.
But if I want to buy something, I use my credit card for what I have, like $300. I have 500. Yeah, I'm gonna okay. Salary is coming in the couple of days.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll offset this and I'll yeah, and I know that it's equal. But when it's something way above, then
Yeah.
I must have a payment plan.
Yeah. So some people say, as a rule of thumb, I don't know how true is this. So viewers, please let us know if that's true or false. That you should not go beyond 35% of your credit card, especially unless maybe you're doing like a capital investment, like the one you talked about, buying a car, or not car now, buying furniture. But regular spending of just buying stuff,
Mhm.
don't exceed
Groceries.
grocery, don't
35%.
exceed 35%. That
Okay.
the red flashing light should start going up in your head
Yeah.
if you've exceeded 35% of your credit card to say, okay, I need to watch my spending, I need to pay this down. Because some people will use 100% one time,
Oh, that's crazy.
and then there is not even, they don't even have a concrete plan as to how to. And this sadly too, this happens a lot to immigrants,
Mhm.
because people get the erroneous impression that it's free
Free
money.
money.
Because you just come into the country, next day the banks are giving you cards,
Cards, right?
and it's easy. So they think, this Canada, they really said there's money here. And then they just start spending it. So be careful. It's
And you
not,
see
it's
people
not free money.
riding flashy cars,
Yeah.
living in, having very lovely furniture in
Yeah.
their houses, and it's all on credit card. And you
Mhm.
don't know how that person is paying. Some
Exactly.
people can't sleep in their homes anymore because they are doing
Shift.
shifts back to back. I mean, not that it's a bad thing. You are acquiring wealth if you are doing it to gather wealth for yourself, not because you are owing. But some people, because they are owing and they have palpitations, develop high blood pressure because the creditors are after their life.
Mhm.
They are sending them mail upon mails because they are defaulting in different
Their
credit
payments,
cards.
yes.
Yeah, they are not paying their credit card. My people, please pay your credit cards. Don't owe people.
Don't
There's
owe
another
them
danger. There's something called line of credit. You've heard about that too.
Yeah.
It's another form of credit. Although I still like that line of credit.
Line of credit, the interest rate on line of credit is
It's
way
lower
Done.
than yes,
credit card.
than credit
I think it's
cards.
about 9 point.
Yeah.
If my own bank is about 9 point something
Way
percent.
lower.
I when they offer me the line of credit, I take it with
Yeah.
my full chest.
Yeah.
Yes.
I accept it,
The difference,
and they increased it for me. I took it.
so the difference between credit card and line of credit, you have to have been with the bank for a while for them to offer you.
And you have to have been good with your credit.
So you have to have been good with your credit card. So line of credit comes much later.
Mhm.
Credit card, as people are coming into the country, they're handing it to them.
As you're opening an account.
And then again, life happens. So that's why I keep saying to people, just it's all about the person holding the card. Now you might have a fantastic job, or maybe the monies you brought from your home country is still there. There's no telling when you will get that dream job. So why buy and get a flashy car when you don't readily have the means to service the debt that will come? I believe strongly in delayed gratification. If you, by the time you have gathered it, then you can spend it. Don't spend it before it comes.
Okay.
That's my view.
Okay, so viewers, you've heard it. That is it. Credit card is something, is a good have, but you have to do it. It's a lot of discipline. You have to do it with a lot of intentionality.
Yeah.
Don't go on a spending spree and then owe the banks. Don't let the creditors come after you.
Don't go to a vacation in Bahamas and spend it using all of your credit card.
Oh, well, I would love to do that, but have a payment plan.
Yeah.
Yes, because that is one of the things I must confess, as you brought that up. That's one of the things I'm preparing my credit card or my line of credit for. Although line of credit is better for business, right? Yeah. My credit card, and when I go to Bahamas or to Maldives, I hope to tap my credit card. But when you come back,
you know,
pay for it.
Payment plan.
Yes, payment plan anyway, people.
Yeah.
Payment plan.
Yeah.
So here you have it. Thank you so much for listening in. Don't forget to subscribe. Our subscribe button is here. Please subscribe. Leave a comment concerning this credit card. What has been your experience? What we are saying, does it make sense? Or do you have something to teach us? Because we need to learn more. Like our videos, and we'll appreciate comments and
share
with your friends. Thank you so much, Okiki. And that's for us to you for today.
We'll see you on the next one.
Take care.